Hi everyone. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about energy and energy medicine. So many of you know that I'm a Reiki master and I have been since 1999. And the thing that took me down the Reiki path, in fact, was that I was managing the RSL Health and Fitness Centre for 9.5 years, but I acquired all of these injuries from teaching 11 high impact classes a week. And some of the injuries were things like my knees, they were all blown out. For 3 years, I had really bad swelling in my knees and a lot of pain. I had them strapped for a whole year and nothing would fix them. I had physiotherapists helping me. And what I ended up being diagnosed with was chondromalacia patella, which is cracking all under the patella, under the bone itself. Iliotibial band syndrome, inflamed fat pads, and patella tendonitis. So when I saw a surgeon, they said there's 20% chance we'll fix your knees. Forget it, you'll never exercise again. You can't even go for walks. Now that absolutely devastated me, and I hadn't been teaching any classes for a whole year, but nothing seemed to be getting better. Now when I left the RSL club, I went to the book club up in Macrae Street, and I was there with my children, and a Reiki book fell out of the shelf. And actually, I've got that book. I'm just going to grab it out of my bookshelf. And so this beautiful book on Reiki fell out of the bookshelf, and I picked it up and I read the back of the cover. Now, some of you will have read the Celestine Prophecy book, and some of you may have seen the movie. But when I read the back cover and then I had a flick through it, it reminded me of something that I'd read in the Celestine Prophecy 5 years before. Now, I always believe there are no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. Everything leads us to the next part of our journey. And 5 years before, I had been at Jupiter's Casino at a fitness convention. And at this fitness convention, when I first arrived, I met this young fellow down in the cafe at Jupiter's Casino. And we got talking, and within 5 minutes he was saying, you need to do this with your business, and this and this and this. And he said to me, you need to work on your confidence and you need to start to look at things differently. I recommend these two books. Now, the first one was The Celestine Prophecy. The other one was Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. So I had a little chuckle to myself, and we had a nice conversation. And the next morning I went to the opening address ceremony at Jupiter's Casino. There were 5,000 people at that workshop. And the person that was opening up the ceremony recommended this book to everybody in the audience, The Celestine Prophecy. So I then at lunchtime jumped on the monorail and I went over to the newsagent over in the shopping centre, and there was the book looking at me, The Celestine Prophecy. I bought the book. I ran back to the motel and I went up on the lift and I went into my room and I rang my husband and I said, guess what? This young guy said to buy this book, and then they said it at the opening address ceremony, and I just went and bought this book, The Celestine Prophecy. And what did my husband say? Well, Kim said to me, that's funny, I've got 2 copies of the book. Now later I realised, my husband never finished reading the book, but I realised that book was trying to make its way to me. And so I read the book. And when I found this book come up at this bookshelf, that fell out of the bookshelf, it just it kind of blew my mind. It just made me think, you know what, in that Celestine Prophecy book, the fellow sprained his ankle, the girl put her hands around and the energy flowed, and then suddenly he was able to walk again. So that was kind of amazing for me. And when I read the book, I thought, this is what I need to do. This book has come into my life because this is what I need to do to fix my knees. The surgeon said they can't fix them. I'll have to do something for myself. And so, of course, I went home. I read the book from cover to cover. I went to the newsagent and I bought a Nature and Health magazine. And in this magazine, there was an ad for Reiki. And, of course, the next thing I did was I rang the lady in the book, and she said that was Zeta Michaels, and she said that she had a workshop in Byron Bay in 2 weeks' time. So I decided to go to that. I took my beautiful daughter Sarah with me, And I kind of forced her, so she really probably wasn't ready to do the workshop. However, she came along with me. We walked in, and I said, "Hi, everybody. My name's Carol, and I'm from Dubbo, and this is Sarah." Now, this man said, "My name's Mark, and I'm from Sydney, but my mother was born in Dubbo." Then another lady, she said, "My name is Sue, and I'm from Byron Bay, but my mother was born in Dubbo." And of course, the third lady was Karen, and she had another coincidence altogether. Now, what this actually told me, because in the Celestine Prophecy book, they talk about coincidences that are more than a coincidence, and we call these a synchronicity. So to me, that told me I'm home, this is where I'm meant to be. And so I did Reiki level 1, and at the end of that workshop, Zeta Michael said to the others in the class, "You can leave, Carol, I need to speak with you." And then she said to me, "You know what, you are meant to do level 2. I want you to go and walk on the beach on Wednesday, come back on Thursday and Friday, and you will do your level 2. It's part of your journey, it's your calling, you're meant to be here." And I was just amazed, and I said, "Certainly, that's wonderful." So I went back and did my level 2 on the Thursday and Friday. Now, on the way back on the plane, something really interesting happened, because Sarah and I were on the plane, and all I could feel was all this heat coming up my back, and it was just like my seat had been heated. And I said to Sarah, is your seat hot? This is really strange." And she started laughing at me, and she said, "Oh, you're crazy, Mum. No, there's no heated seats." Now, the funny thing was, I also, as one of my other injuries, I had this curve in my spine and pinched nerves that had had a lot of pain over the years. But that heat stayed in my back for 5 hours, and the pain just disappeared after that. So what I realized later was it was actually a partial Kundalini rising, which we can talk about another time, another place. However, when I got home that night, I put both hands, I put my feet up on the coffee table, I put my hands on my knees, and I just sat there for about 20 minutes with my hands on my knees. And at the end of that time, I got up and I went to bed. And then I woke up the next day, and the pain and the swelling was gone. I just couldn't believe it. And I remember looking at my hands going, "Oh my God, this is real. This is not my imagination." Because even doing the workshop, I thought this will work for everybody else. It won't work for me. And so in that moment, I knew that magic happens, miracles happen. And I had to really open my mind to energy. And so we don't always know how everything works. And that's really, it's a thing that challenges in our life sometimes. But then we get to a place where we go, "I don't know how it works. I just know it works. I'm going to trust this. I'm going to open my mind up to possibilities." And that's what life is all about, opening our mind to possibilities. And so I'm going to now teach you a few little things that I want you to do just to start to learn to feel energy. Because as we open our mind up to possibilities in our body, we can open up to possibilities for a different life, to abundance, to joy, to opening up to love. And it all starts with just a little switch in our mind. So what I want you to do now is imagine now that you are maybe standing or sitting by a fire. And then I want you to start to rub your hands together, because this will just bring the energy into your hands for a moment. And just rubbing those hands together. Now warm your hands by the fire. That's it. And you'll already probably start to feel a bit of a tingling sensation. We're going to do that 2 more times, so just warming your hands in a moment, rubbing those little hands together. Now warm your hands by the fire, that's it. Now 1 more time, rubbing those hands together. Now warm your hands by the fire, and you should already be starting to feel a kind of tingling sensation, and that's just energy. We're just drawing our attention to our hands so the energy flows there. Now what I want you to do is imagine in these hands that you've got these little spray cans, and now you're going to gently move those hands backwards and forwards. And as you do so, you might even want to just close your eyes for a moment so you come more into your body, not into your head. Start to notice what you're feeling. So you're building a ball of chi or ki or prana. Every ancient culture actually has a different name for it, but this energy has been around since the beginning of time. There are written documents 5,000 years ago, people using this chi to heal the body and the mind. So if you're feeling that, now just move those hands a little from side to side. You'll start to feel the tingling even more. Now I want you to imagine one hand is a paintbrush and the other is the canvas. And as you move your hands, you'll feel that energy. So really notice what you're feeling. And then when you've got that, move your hand out even further. Even further. Because I can still feel that. Now bringing those hands together, and we're going to move them in and out again. Really, what you find is energy is kind of like sticky toffee between those fingers. And you can actually learn to see the aura as you move your hands like this. If you're doing that on perhaps carpet, dark carpet or a white wall, you'll start to see the stringy bits between the hands. Now you might want to change to the other side. And what you'll often find is that one hand is a little more sensitive than the other at what you're feeling. I love doing this work, and I love doing this at parties sometimes. It's my party trick. Excellent. And moving it further once you've got that. And further back. Excellent. Now moving them again, because what we're going to do is something really kind of interesting and tricky here. Because energy is all there is. Energy and information, and our intention is everything. And what I want you to do now is put your hands and face the screen, and we're going to move those hands backwards and forwards. And right now, my intention is that I'm connecting with you there at home, and I'm hoping you're going to feel that energy. Because I've done this before on video on Facebook, and I've had people say, yes, I could feel that. That's it. And now I'm going to just draw some circles. So you just put your hands like this, and I'm now drawing circles on your hands. And that is our intention now. Now again, building that energy. Now, I love doing this in my workshops, because what I'll do is we're just moving those hands, feeling that energy. And we can go further and further back. And even now, you're probably going to be feeling that even from the screen. Because my intention is to send you beautiful, warm energy. Because I can feel that energy myself now. And possibly it's because I've got that reflection and it's intention again. I'll come back to the camera. And now just bringing those hands into prayer position for a moment and focusing on your fingertips. And closing those thoughts, just coming into your center, you'll start to notice those fingertips begin to pulse a little bit. And now we're going to bring those hands, right hand over the heart, left hand on top. And now our intention is to just send loving kindness and compassion back to us. Excellent. So know that when we're doing any work, when we're giving to others and sharing, what we're really doing is not sending our own energy out, but we are being the hollow reed. We are letting the universal life and light and abundance flow through us. And as we share, we're just sharing from the heart, but we are actually just being this hollow reed, letting energy flow through us, letting that prosperity and abundance flow through us so that we can share with others in our world. So I hope you've enjoyed this little exercise today on energy, and I hope you're enjoying just opening your mind to new possibilities. Namaste, my friends.